Hello, everyone. It's me, Rob Trader, with Take the Initiative. We've got some top 16 TTI League action here today. This is pre-recorded. Thank you to Deshuga for recording this while it was live. But the match is Hungball versus Deshuga. Unfortunately, we only got part of it, but we're going to commentate over what we have. So this is Humble's Anakin list. It's fairly similar to his teammate Jonas, but there are a couple differences. But this deck is, it's got game into lots of different matchups, aggro control. It's got some good sentinels for the early game and protectors and Conquered Dawn interceptors. But it's also got things like Lukes, Crate Dragons, Poes, Pillages that are going to be good going into the late game against control decks, which I'm sure Deshuga's Palp2 list is going to take him there. This is a, Deshuga's already had some impressive results with us. He's not running a ton of blue cards, but the ones he's running are pretty impactful. He's going all the way up to Avengers. He's got Childsons in the sideboard for more villain cards if he needs to get flipping with Palp2 more. All right, getting started here with game one. Deshuga's going to open with the Arc 170, and Humble actually misses the turn one play, which is not all that essential into this matchup. Because, it's a control deck, right? You win in the long game. Although Humble, I do think he's the aggro, so it does hurt a little bit at least to miss the turn one play. All right, and then R2 coming out for Humble, which the only way to guarantee the flip here for Deshuga is to use Genesis Patrol Fighter, which R2 is not a great target for that, but Humble does still have 2 resources left, so it gives time to attack and then see if Humble's got something else in store here. And then see if he wants to burn the Arc for the Patrol Fighter. And it looks like Humble took initiative, probably. So we're going to see Spark of Rebellion here. These are all great targets for this Spark. And ends up picking the Luke. I think you really can make an argument for any of those. Those are all 4 strategically important cards here. But no Palpatine flip just yet. But he doesn't need to, right? He doesn't have any villain cards that he's looking for. All right, there's the village people for Humble. Don't think that's how that works. Oh, did he just... So he just used the Anakin pump, I guess intentionally to get more damage on his base, even though he's getting the same damage to the base. I guess that's, that's fair. This Palpatine deck doesn't do a ton of damage otherwise. All right, Patrol Fighter comes down here, which is going to give Palpatine the flip here. And nothing to immediately flip back with. So we'll see if Palpatine gets stranded. Okay, there we go. He picks up a Power of the Dark Side off the top deck here, which does let him flip back if he needs to. Although the R2 is making it a bit annoying right now. And R2 is just going to go to the base there without the Anakin. Okay. And then Long Pike off the top deck. Picks up another Long Pike, actually. But that Long Pike is going to enable the Palpatine flip back. And, in this board state, Deshuga is almost the aggro deck. Okay, he's going to play defensively and trade there. And then the village people comes back out. Clone Trooper here. That's a nice way to deal with the shield on the village people. Takedown in hand also does it just fine. But we're now on 6 resources, which means Humble can flip his Anakin. Anakin would only be 5 attack, but if he uses the flip side ability, he'd be 6. Using it here would let him use R2 to kill the clone trooper. He's thinking about it. And that is the play. Yep, kill the clone trooper. Save the shield on the village people. And buff the Anakin a little bit. And Deshuga looks like it's going to lead with Spark here. Yep. See if there's anything Humble's got that's... I mean, he's still got those same 3 cards from earlier. Those are all worthwhile hits. And it's actually 3PO. That's... I mean, it's the only unit he could play this turn, and it's guaranteed to get another card because he saw the top deck with R2. So there's valid reasoning behind that. You're effectively taking 2 cards with 1, even though it's not as, you know, perhaps impactful as the other one. Or other 3 cards. But he's playing the long game here. Deshuga is. Decides to, you know, basically move the shield with that attack. So he gives the Long Pike a shield, gives the R2 a shield, and then the village people on the Long Pike trade shields. And this is the end result. All right, there's the Anakin. Yeah, the clone trooper did die, so we can flip his Palpatine. And he's got all 3 copies of Takedown. And Takedown is a good out to that Anakin if Humble goes for the Long Pike instead of going to base. And we'll see where he does go. And he does go for the Long Pike. Gives Deshuga the option. I think that was... I mean... I don't know. It's... you can make arguments for that play, but I probably would have just gone to base. Because I think Humble's the aggro here. Even with that Crate Dragon in hand, you know, he loses in the long game. He wants to, I think he needs to maximize value out of that Anakin while he can. Alright, he does have a Cassian, which is going to let him push some to the base here. And Deshuga top decks a Bosk here, which is great. It's going to let him kill that village people and then immediately flip back to hero side, where he's got an R2 to follow up with. I imagine that's going to be the play. Only on being on 7 resources. He does have another play, which is like Takedown, Power the Dark Side, which lets you kill Cassian. He also has like maybe a wait and see play, but he knows like 3 of the cards in hand, and he knows they're not immediate threats to him. They're just long-term strategic threats. So maybe he thinks he can. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if he waits. All right, it's the Bosk. Clears the village protectors. Humble does have ways of dealing with that. Either Cassian or an Anakin R2 deal with Bosk and survive. All right, but there's Palpatine flip back. And there's Force Throw. Kanan is a Force unit. And this, I mean, this hurts. No matter what card you discard, you're losing something. All right, discards the takedown to lose the Bosk. Enables him to play the R2 here. Which, I mean, you don't really want to discard any of these. I think at this point you probably discard Power of the Dark Side. Just because that R2 seems like it's here to stay. He might not... oh, he looks like he's not even going to use it. Decides to keep the power. Which, I mean, there's an argument for that. Power can be important. But you've got to clear the board first. Cassian's going to get some more to base. All right, ooh, Deshuga picks up a Luke Skywalker unit. Which has... sorry, for the moment, it only can kill R2, but if he, you know, rams his clone trooper into something, then it kills anything. All right, Deshuga... he's gonna... it looks like he's gonna resource that Genoshan ship. He's having second thoughts about it. I think I agree with that resource. I would just go for the ship. Just about ready. He's thinking it over, but yeah, he's gonna go with the Genoshan ship here. All right, action. And it looks like he's gonna open with the Luke here. Oh no, he's not. He's not even gonna go for the Luke. Actually, just gonna go for removal. Takes out the Kanan. There's a good rationale behind that play. You know, I mean, go for the Luke play, rescue. It leaves you open to taking a lot of damage from these units, and you really don't want to take that if you can avoid it. All right, we've got some R2 on R2 action. Removing the shield from Humbles. And then Anakin going to be used for some more R2 on R2 action. Leaving both dead, giving Deshuga the opportunity to flip his Palpatine again. And it's going to be tech out of the resource draw. I was like, what's he going to fell? But yeah, no, he's got lots of smuggle stuff. Oh, Super Laser Blast hits the discard. I mean, not ideal. You definitely like to keep that one, but, you know, if it comes down to it, you're fine. And he's going to start hitting base with this Clone Trooper. And then Humble gets attack of his own. Palpatine's going to flip back. So Humble should not have taken 2 damage there. I mean, this is pre-recorded, not live, so I can't go and intervene. But yeah, Humble should not have taken 2 damage off the Palp flip there. He's getting it confused with the other side. What are they getting here? Just wanted to get a dancing stormtrooper. All right. Respect. Oh, did they throw away the initiative token? You're gonna call it Initiative Steve. No, you should have gone with that. No. Okay. Well, back to the game. They did draw, yeah. So Bazine looks like it's going to go to the resource row, maybe R2. What did he draw an extra card for? Oh, yeah, he drew the extra card for his Palpatine flip. That's what it was. All right, it looks like R2 is going to be the resource, keeping the Bazine in hand. And there's the Crate Dragon from Humble. Deshuga has the Fell, which is the perfect out. But he's going to get value out of his units before using that. So Yoda gets cleared here. And then Tech is going to get cleared with Cassian. And now we see the Fell. Yep. That takes down the Crate Dragon. And Tech's going to pile on a little bit more damage. 3 for Power of the Dark Side. And it's going to eat Cassian, and that turns on the Palpatine flip. And while we're at it, Deshuga's going to play Bazine. See if he can snipe something here. Snipes Poe. Interesting. Ooh. Okay, he's having second thoughts. With like Avenger and Luke in hand, you might want to snipe the Fell. Pillage is also a consideration. And it's going to be Fell. Humble is on 9. So he could play both of those cards that he has in hand, the Poe and the Pillage. All right, so I believe Deshuga is also on 9, and he's not going to go any further, especially seeing that Pillage in hand. So Avenger isn't on just yet. He has to run his Clone Trooper into something to turn it on. Village Protectors is a perfect candidate for that. Tech also clears up. But Humble's getting his card advantage off this Tech while he still can. Now he's using it to go to the base. And Clone Trooper is going to take out the Village Protectors, meaning that if Deshuga flips... Alright, Poe comes out here, so that's not as much of a concern. But the Luke could still come down here and clear this Poe on its own. And it looks like that's what's going to happen here. And the Palpatine flip is still online. Boom. There goes Poe. Humble takes initiative. Conquered on interceptors. Sorry about the angle, everyone. I know it's kind of awkward, but this is the footage I have. I'm just grateful for Deshuga recording it at all. All right, and Avenger is live right now. Deshuga's gotten so much value off of this Palpatine. Like, we've talked before in these Palpatine games about, you know, how sometimes it's difficult to flip Palpatine that often, but Deshuga's really found a way to deal with it. He's flipped almost every round. Ooh, perilous position off the resource row from Humble. And I think we're going to see Avenger. Yep. That's going to clear the tech. And does Humble have a way to deal with it? I think he still has a Fell the Dragon from when we saw it earlier, or maybe played it already, or maybe resourced it. All right, but either way, it's not coming down now. It's going to be cated. All right, Palpatine's going to flip back. This one's Proven to be quite the barn burner. Three PO gonna be protection for Kanan there. Is Humble just gonna call it? It looks like it. All right. Yeah, I mean, he didn't really have the. I guess he just didn't have the way to deal with both the Luke and the Avenger there. So, yeah, congratulations. All right, Deshuga up 1. All right, let's take a look at these sideboards. This is Deshuga's sideboard. He's got the Vigilances in there, which those might make an appearance to help in the long game. Bounty Hunter crew also gives Deshuga that option to go for Mill. I don't know if Mill is all that viable of a path against this Anakin deck. We might see Rivals Falls to deal with Anakins that can get out of control. Restock's also in there for the Mills, and Childson maybe also comes in there just if he feels like he needs more help flipping that Palpatine back to the hero side. On Humble's end, he's got a couple more things that can help him with the control matchup. He's got the second and third copies of Tech. He's got Crate Dragon, Bravado to help with like OTKs. He's got Pillage in there, the third one, which can... I mean, Pillage can be a real bummer for Palpatine getting stranded like that. And is that Smoke and Cinders? That's a fun one. We'll see if that one makes an appearance. But I'm not sure what that one's in there for. But maybe it'll make an appearance. All right, let's get into the next game. All right, getting started with game 2 here. Again, sorry about the camera angle, but thank you to Deshuga for recording anyway. So it's going to be R2 from Humble and Lethal Insurgent from Deshuga. Couple units that are playable picked up here for Deshuga. Humble has the ability to kill this Insurgent with the Anakin ability. Or he might drop like a Village Protectors to, avoid even having to do that. It looks like, nope, he's going to go for the Anakin play, though. And Deshuga follows up with a R2. His Palpatine flip is now online. He's deciding he wants to use the R2 before Humble makes play, and it's going to be this second Lethal Insurgent pitched here. And, ooh, those are all good options here. And it's going to be Bazine. Leaving the Avenger and the Spark go. And there's Palpatine flip. No heals, but he gets the card draw. Doesn't need the healing. And he can resource this Bazine, play it out of the resource row this turn, and his Palpatine can flip back to hero. He doesn't really need it for any particular aspect card at this point in time. And all right, there we go. We're back to the normal camera. And there's Bazine out of the resource row. And, ooh, what do you take here? Either Kanan or Force Throw, and it's going to be Kanan, yeah. Yoda is on the board, though, so that Force Throw is going to be making an impact. And, oh, of course, Humble drew the second Kanan off the top deck. All right, and Palpatine's going to flip back here, making this Clone Trooper. Humble gets initiative, but, I mean, so We'll see if he takes out this clone trooper, because if he doesn't, the clone trooper can take out Yoda. He's got a couple ways of doing it, right? Looks like he's just going to use the Yoda before it becomes a factor. And did he miss his restore? It looks like he did miss his restore. Oh, sorry. Takedown for the cannon. Remember, force throw is still around. All right. Smart move there by Humble, clearing the clone before it gets a chance to clear the Yoda. Beijing's going to go into the Yoda, but doesn't fully take him out. And 3PO, assisted by R2, is going to pick up attack from the top deck, which can actually come out this turn. If Humble wants it. And he wants it, yep. All right, next round, Palpatine on the villain side. He's got a Long Pike in the resource row. Ooh, picks up a Childs in here, which would be a 6/6 and would enable the flip back. But before any of that happens, he's going to take out the Yoda with this Beijing. Three goes to base, misses. Now it's Deshuga's turn to make a play here. Going for the Childson would block off both these units, potentially getting a trade with tech, although, I mean, likely the tech just won't attack, but, I mean, having a 6/6 unit is major. And this is also the Anakin flip turn, so you've got to think about that. So he's got to think about potentially keeping Rivals Fall for the Anakin. But I mean, Childson, because Childson and Anakin would be hitting for 5, so the Childson play, I think the Childson play makes the most sense, and that's what he's going for. So Anakin does technically survive a hit from Childson. All right, and Palpatine's going to flip back. Humble takes 2. If Humble can find a way to take 2 more base damage, he can cleanly answer the Childson with Anakin. Force throw. Whatever that is, that turns Anakin into a clear answer to Childson. Unless, of course, he decides to kill Clone Trooper with this. He does not. And this one is looking a lot better for Humble. All right, Spark. That's not a great hand. Probably just a fell. Yeah. Because you can't take both takedowns, and there's already a tech on board. Yep. And there it is. The takedown. Clearing the Childson without even an attack. And Tech's going to clear the Clone Trooper. So Potentially trapping Deshuga on this hero side. Because he doesn't... I mean, unless he's got a tech of his own in the resource row, he doesn't have a way to generate a death. Which he might have a tech in the resource row. He does run them. Alright, he's just gonna go for... Sorry, he's just gonna go for Rival's Fall. Clear the Anakin. Prevent it from getting too big. But he's gonna stay heroic for another turn. Alright, R2 and the Paradroids are here to stay. 3PO picks up... Ooh, Luke, that's Banger. Potentially something coming in off of tech here. Or potentially Cassian. Yoda off of tech. Ooh, Redemption picked up. And it can come out this turn. But it's in the wrong arena to be an answer to all these units. Hubble really needs, or sorry, Deshuga needs to be flipping as soon as he can so he can get to this Bosk. Bosk is great here. He might, I mean, he actually could just play the Bosk out of aspect here, which would be fine. I think he might be thinking about Redemption as well, just to, you know, get the heals and prevent any like crazy space units from coming out and being a blowout. It's going to be takedown on 3PO. All right. Tech goes to base. All right. And then, so tech is going to be met with tech here. Hubble's just going to start stacking things up on the base here. He needs to find a way to get back to his other side. I guess he doesn't need to. He could theoretically just, you know, stay on this hero side for a couple more rounds longer, but Poe's going to be a big threat here, and he's going to be difficult to deal with. Sorry about that. Deshuga contemplating if he even wants to resource here. He's at, I think he's at 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he's at just enough to play Redemption. He's at enough to play. Alright, he decides to resource. That was power, I believe. Goes for Fell on the immediate threat, which is Poe. If he can manage to get this tech killed, he can flip, and that lets him play Bosk. Alright, there's Luke, and that gets him the tech kill if he wants the flip. And he does. He takes it. Although this Luke is still going to be a massive threat. And this is why I think Humble's at an advantage here, is that Deshuga's on the back foot and Humble's got a presence, even if it's just small guys. Deshuga has to keep dealing with these threats, even if they're small and they can stack up. And even if Deshuga keeps having answers, Humble keeps getting further ahead on damage. And in an environment like that, yeah, especially with tech generating even more card advantage for Humble, you can quickly get to a point where Deshuga is out of answers. Now, Deshuga does have a way to counteract this by drawing cards off his Palpatine and potentially getting his own text down, but Humble seems to be doing a good job of clearing them as they come up. Speaking of tech, there's another one on the resource row. Bringing Deshuga to 10 resources here. Enough to play Redemption on or Luke off aspect. But he's not going to do that. He's got the Rival Sol for Luke. So that's the play, and he gets a ping off on the Bosk. An Anakin buffed R2 clears this Bosk nicely. Humble might have another way to deal with it, though. All right, cutting ahead to game 3 here. Deshuga on the play this time. Going back to game 1 with the Restored Arc. And we'll see if Humble has a response. He does, and it's also Restored Arc. The thing with this, with Humble's deck here, is that he makes all these things trade because of Anakin. Puts a long pike in the resource row. Remember that for later. And Deshuga's doing what he can to make sure that both arcs die instead of just his own. Humble's actually going to take off for the base here. Meaning Deshuga can't flip this turn. You can flip this turn now, though. Almost assuredly. But again, that R2 is complicating his Power of the Dark Sides. Puts 2 into R2, practically begging Humble to, put one back in, but he's not going to take the bait. Palpatine is going to flip. He's got Bazine that he can play out of the resource row, which is a fine play. And he goes for it. Ooh, all 3 of those are good ones. Pillage, I mean, Deshuga's got a big enough hand that he might not be that worried about Pillage. Crate Dragon is a big long-term threat, but it does not much in the short term. Not really anything. Fel the Dragon is... I think it's got to be between Pillage and Crate. Although maybe there's an argument for going Fel, and it's Pillage. All right. And onward we go. All right, K2 buffed with Anakin, takes out the tech, does some extra overwhelm, prevents any of these units from dying. There's a long pike out of the resource row, which triggers Palp. Clone Trooper here could just be just what the doctor ordered for Deshuga. being able to take out either K2 or R2. All right, another K2 picked up by C-3PO. Droids looking out for each other. Bazine going to put R2 within one of dying. And Hubble decides to play out Yoda, giving away the initiative to Deshuga. But this is now the Anakin flip turn. Just keep that in mind. Deshuga does have the Rivals Fall for it. Deshuga also has Vigilance, which was a sideboard piece. We talked about that might maybe coming in. Again, I'm not sure how much mill is going to be a threat, but if it is, Deshuga is coming prepared. Let's see. Right now, he's got difficult challenge to face in overcoming all these fat units on Humble's side. Starts by taking out the K2 with that Clone Trooper. Clone Trooper dying now turns on the Palpatine flip, which means he can get to Bosk this turn if he wants. Anakin going to use his ability. Trade the droid for Bazine. I mean, he could have taken out Bazine anyway. He just wanted the extra damage. So now Anakin is going to flip on to being a 5 instead of something else. A 4. All right, here's Poe. And that complicates things, because I think Deshuga was hoping to go for Rivals Fall, but now he may not. All right, okay, he decides to take an action to decide. Humble's got another dirtle of an action by attacking with Yoda. Now, that attack actually puts him below 5, so Anakin is just going to be a 4. All right, and then Fellow Dragon comes down, clears Poe. I think that's the right move, seeing the Yoda restore. Ooh, all 3 copies of Vigilance. He's keeping all 3. Wow. Now let's see what the play is. He's got like a greedy line of going like Lom into Yoda, then power on Anakin. Where he's got the safe line, which is just like Rivals Fall Anakin. But if he goes power, he gets to flip. But there's also a very real chance Humble just plays another unit and blocks it. Alright, he's just taking the safe route. Clears the Anakin with that Rivals Fall. Yoda's going to get some more value in here before being knocked out by the Lom. And there's K2. And, oh. So K2 can clear either of these units. Sorry, Lom Pike can. This Lom's just getting, like, all sorts of value. He's already taken out 2 units. Gonna get a 3rd, maybe even a 4th if he goes for Yoda. Deshuga decides to resource a Luke here, keeping the Lothal Insurgent. Probably just so he can have like a cheap unit to play to potentially guarantee a flip later. All right, and the K2 is going to be going to be the target of the Lom Pike, not the Yoda. How about that down to 0 damage on his base? All right, Boss can clear that Yoda. Crucially, Power of the Dark Side still online. If Humble wants to go for something that's weak to it. And he does. There it is. Power of the dark side. All right, Humble's on the initiative here. What's he got in 3PO? Okay. Misses. Spark Rebellion. Ooh, probably. I mean, can he play Luke this turn? He could play Luke this turn. So that's argument for going for that. But you don't have the out to the Crate Dragon. So it is going to be Crate. Deshuga doing a good job of getting rid of these big Crate Dragons. Which, I mean, that Crate Dragon game to you probably won Humble the game. Seven for Luke. Probably in Cassian. Nobody's died yet, but this means the clone can just run him over. He could also theoretically Anakin to achieve the same result, but he's not going to take the base damage. We guess, I mean, yeah. If he had done that, he would have taken out the clone trooper, but decided against it. Instead, opting to keep the initiative, saying the initiative's more valuable to me than killing that clone trooper, which is a fair valuation. All right, 3PO just hitting base and misses again. All right, Vigilance out of Humble. Going to be heal and mill. Yeah. And there's another Crate Dragon. Cassian, Tech as well. Force Throw. Those are strategic cards. All right, Tech for Humble. Demands a response. Luke can run it over pretty easily if Humble chooses to do so. Or if Deshuga does. Deshuga instead is going to play his own Tech. And Humble looking at his resources. Going for 5, 6. Fell the Dragon. That does enable the Palpatine flip back. Just going to ram that clone trooper into the attack for good measure, I guess. No villain units in hand, but I believe there's a Lompike in the resource row, and certainly some number of villain cards in the resource row that Tech can smuggle out. Okay, what's the move here? Humble's got initiative. Looking at his resources. He could use Anakin to clear the Tech with his own Tech if he wants. Maybe he's got something out of the row that does it. Also, K2 out of the row. Okay. That presents more of a threat of damage. Deshuga is going for another Vigilance, I guess, which would clear the tech and probably maybe he's going. It looks like, yeah, he's going for the mill plan, which, you know, it's hard to tell how many cards are in Humble's deck, but I mean, he has drawn a lot of cards and, you know, replaced a lot of smuggle resources, so maybe he's getting close. Doesn't quite have enough to play the second Vigilance this turn. All right. 3PO going to base. Misses. You honestly, I mean, mill's a factor. Maybe you don't want to be hitting. 5, 4. Oh, he's thinking about it again. Long pike. There we go. All right. Nothing special off tech. Just a long pike. Takedown on the tech. And the Deshuga gets the initiative here. Decides not to flip Palp2, instead taking the initiative. Which, I mean, there's nothing you need to flip for, so, like, that's fine. And then he goes for Vigilance. Oh, that's actually the whole deck. I did not realize it was that close. So now, I mean, Humble's got to win with what he's got. Four. Bazine. That's going to take out one of the cards. Probably Luke. Yep. And deal 3 more damage. It is a mandatory effect on Bazine, so Humble does take that damage to the base. .3PO. Who knows what he called, but he's not going to get it. Palp2 going to flip. Back, make a Clone Trooper. Ooh, tech. Okay, so he's got summon out of the resource row. That does permanently destroy a resource, though, because it is not going to come back. It does give Humble the chance to maybe find something, but he's now on a clock. Taking 6 damage every turn. It's going to be hard to race to 15 here. All right, Humble's just going to take initiative. Ooh, Avenger picked up from Deshuga. I think that's going to be the lock. Oh, he's actually going to resource the Avenger. Disrespect. Ooh, he's got the 3rd Crate Dragon in the resource row. Which, I mean, if anything can change the game, that can. All right, 3PO, just taking out threats one by one. Decides to give the Crate Dragon a shield, saying, I'm just going to kill it with removal. Still reconsidering the shield. Alright, he's going to run Clone Trooper in, presumably to set up the Palp2 flip. And there it is. Rivals fall on Crate Dragon. You take 6 to the base. Deshuga's got 7 left. Now 9 left. is going to play out a Child Son, which is going to be 6/6. Show the Bayzine also for more disrespect. And actually play it as well. And then that's just going to be it. All right. Congratulations to Deshuga for making it to the top 8. And also thank you for recording this. Everyone feel free to subscribe to watch more. Take the initiative. We got to have top 8 coverage coming very shortly. And remember to always take the initiative.